Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I'm the Young Adult Librarian at the Rock Island Public Library, and the book I have for you today is Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley. And this is a great book that sort of, we're getting into summer. This is a summer story. It is about Solomon Reed, and he has not left his house in 3 years, 2 months, and 1 day. And you might think, I read this pre-pandemic, so it hit differently then. Solomon has a severe form of agoraphobia. He was in junior high. One day, there was a fountain outside of school, and he took off his clothes, he stripped down to his underwear, and he got in the fountain. And this was kind of the last time he was outside. He has panic attacks, he has various stuff going on. He's tried therapy, but it hasn't exactly been, something that has been effective for him. And what has worked is staying in his house and going to school online. And he's basically finished high school about a year early. So, his parents, they're fine with him, academically speaking. They're like, hey, you do great at school. We're not worried about that. But, what do you think about maybe friendship stuff, or how do you feel about what you're going to do after high school? And of course, going to college online, that's certainly a thing that has become much easier in recent years. But what Solomon doesn't know, the summer that this book takes place, there is a girl who remembers him from junior high. And this is Lisa Prater, who she knows what she wants to do after high school. She has a plan. She knows what school she wants to go to and what program she wants to get into. And she knows that, okay, to do this, she's going to need a scholarship. And so what she finds, I believe she's at the dentist. Solomon's mom is the dentist, as it happens. And this is how Lisa realizes, oh, Solomon, that kid from junior high, the fountain incident, I remember this. And what Lisa decides is she is going to, for her future plans, her plan is to become a therapist. So to write this essay that she needs to get this college scholarship, she's going to talk to Solomon, and she's going to help him leave his house. This is her plan. Now, she does not tell Solomon. This is not something that he finds out right away. And people close to Lisa are like, hey, I'm not sure this is a good idea to do it this way. And she's like, okay, but that's not a great opening line to be like, hey, I want to help you for a scholarship. No, she goes to his house, in talking to his mom, the dentist, is able to find a little background, and she contacts him, and it's like, hey, I remember you from junior high. Would it be okay if we hung out? I'm just, it's summer and kind of, end of high school. I'm kind of looking to reconnect with people. And, for Solomon, it's like, okay, sure, she can come to his house, and they become friends. And both of them are kind of surprised by this. Lisa obviously has an ulterior motive. And for Solomon, the motive in talking to Lisa, at first, it's just this thing of all right, my parents, this will make them kind of feel better, they're worried about me and social stuff, and so I will let this person come over, we can hang out. But as time passes, they really do become friends. And eventually Lisa starts bringing over her boyfriend, Clark. And Clark also becomes Solomon's friend. It's this thing where, okay, Clark knows about the scholarship and Lisa's plan to, write about Solomon for her application. And so, he's sort of uncomfortable, oh man, I don't know, it seems like you're using this kid. But then it's like, okay, well, this person's my friend. It's obviously a very unusual situation when he has not left his house in years. But another thing that happens this summer is Solomon realizes that something he really misses is going swimming. And his grandma is, I believe this is all taking place in California, and his grandma is a pretty famous local realtor. So she's got money. And her whole thing is, hey, I'll build a pool. I'll put a pool in the backyard. If you're gonna use the pool, great. That could be your birthday and Christmas present or whatever. Just, if you're gonna go outside and use this, that's fantastic. All of us, in your family want to see this happen. So, some of the fun of this summer is just, Solomon and his friends, the first friends he's had in years, Lisa and Clark. And, you know, having this pool, which is like, oh wow, you know, this is a chance for him to get outside for the first time in years, you know, something he enjoys and feels comfortable doing. And what happens though is Lisa, you know, in wanting to be a therapist, sometimes, you know, she wants to help, she really does. But a big part of her wanting to get this scholarship and go away to college is to get away from her family, in particular her mom, who can be kind of a dysfunctional person to live with. And so sometimes Lisa, she makes judgments that maybe aren't correct. You know, for example, the whole idea of not telling Solomon about this scholarship sooner, you know. Eventually it comes out. Eventually he knows, you know, that this is kind of why she started visiting him. And then eventually it's like, well, yeah, you know, we're friends and this is okay. But prior to that, you know, it's certainly there are feelings of betrayal there. And also because, like, Lisa, you know, other people in her life kind of present this idea, but basically Clark, her boyfriend, he is, I believe, like the youngest boy of like 4. Like he has 3 older brothers, and he's on like the water polo team at school. And what Lisa's like, she has a friend, you know, this girl she's known since like the 1st grade. This person is pretty sure, like, oh, you know, based on what I know about Clark, I think he's gay. And, you know, this is because their boyfriend and girlfriend, they really like each other, but they've not, you know, done a lot physically. And Lisa, as the summer goes on, starts thinking, you know, maybe this is what's happening. You know, maybe Clark is gay. And Solomon is gay. And, you know, he eventually comes out to Lisa, and to him it's like, well, you know, like why would I tell anybody about this? Like, to me, it's not really super relevant, because if I'm just gonna kind of be inside my whole life, no one needs to know that I'm gay. But to Lisa, it's like, well, no, I mean, that's part of who you are, and, you know, thank you for telling me. So she starts thinking, okay, you know, is something gonna happen between Clark and Solomon? Do I need to kind of step back and let, you know, something romantic happen between these two? Well, I mean, no, that's not really what's going on. But in this story, you know, it's one of those books where you get, you know, some misunderstandings, and there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of just fun friendship moments, because, you know, in spite of the inauspicious beginning of this, you know, in spite of the reason Lisa first comes to meet Solomon, you know, the reason she seeks him out, I mean, they do become good friends, and she and Clark are able to kind of help him start to move out into the world again. Because at one point, near the end of the book, Solomon's grandma ends up in the hospital, and he really wants to go see her. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't, what if she dies and I never, you know, get to say anything, you know, about how much she means to me, and, you know, I have to at least see her. And it's this thing of like, okay, Clark and Lisa, they have engineered a way that maybe they can, you know, they can get him into a vehicle and get him to the hospital. And it's just a really good story. This is John Corey Whaley's 3rd novel. I've enjoyed all of his books, and this one, yeah, you can see from the cover, it's got some real good summer vibes. And if you're looking for a story of, I guess, friendship and romance and mental health, and kind of how many of these things converge in sort of a dramatic way at the end of high school. You know, for a lot of us, they can sort of, if you're dealing with these things, they can reach a crescendo when you're at this moment in your life where you're supposed to be making big decisions about the future. So check it out. And thank you for watching. I will see you again soon.